Hello everybody, I thought I would just make a little video for this new Survive patch. The patch notes in video format seem to go down really well for Royalty Mod, so since this Survive patch is a little bit bigger, I thought I would do it for this too. Now I'm not going to be doing this for every patch, because a lot of my patches are really tiny and they're not worth it. So don't worry, you won't have to sit through a video every single time I update. But anyway, let's get on to the Survive patch. Now, usually with my patches, I only do bug fixes and I never really include anything new. However, I have included a few new interactions in this patch, which I will get onto first. And I did this just because I thought that Survive was kind of missing these things and it needed it, and I didn't want to put it behind an early access paywall because really the mod should have it anyway. So let's do the most interesting things first. So I've added a new interaction to fridges called Scavenge for Old Food. This was a suggestion on Discord, so if you're the person who suggested that, thank you so much because I really enjoy this new interaction. This has a 50% chance of finding multiple food items / drinks, and once a fridge has been scavenged, then it is empty for good. However, I know some people won't like this, so I have added a shift-click cheat to refill the empty fridges. I've added a new interaction to the satellite called Tinker, and this just provides another way for you to get up your handiness skill, because as I was playing, I realized it was really quite difficult since you can't buy books in this mod. It was really quite difficult unless you came across a handiness book or you broke things and you fixed them. It was really difficult to get your handiness skill up. So that just provides an easier way to do that. When you click on your Sim's phone in the bottom left corner, it will no longer open and instead it will display a flyaway. And this says, it's the end of the world, your Sim's name's phone is no longer working. Now, I know some people won't want this, so I have made this 100% optional, and it can be safely deleted from the mod. So if you delete it, your survivors will still be able to open their phones, but they won't be able to use any of EA's interactions, which is the way the mod used to work. This is good for those who use phone mods, but if you don't care and you don't want to use your phone at all, and you want a more lore-friendly reason for why they can't open their phone, then, this is good for you. The lockpicking and breaking in interaction now uses the animation from For Rent, except I've removed the dust cloud visual effects because the dust cloud actually ended up covering most of the animation, and it's a pretty cool animation, and I want to see it. So this has been made base game for those who don't own For Rent. You will be able to see the visual effects. However, if you don't own that pack, you won't be able to hear the sound effects because for some reason, the visual effects, even if they come with a pack, they're base game friendly, but the sound effects aren't. I don't know, ask EA. I've now fixed the shower and the sink animation, and it uses the shower and rain animation, so you will be able to see the visual effects. However, if you don't own seasons, you may not be able to hear some of the sound effects, but that is now base game compatible and it works all great now. I've also added a new travel interaction to Survivor Sims. When you click on them, it's under the Survive Pie menu. Basically, this mimics the phone travel interaction, but without using the phone animation or the phone menu. When your sim visits other survivors on their lots, usually when you knock on the door, you get a notification saying, "Come on in." But I've changed this to something a bit more post-apocalyptic. And I've now also added something that people have been asking for a really long time, which is when you go to another lot, it doesn't matter if Sims live there, they don't live there, if it's a public lot, the lot will no longer have power or water. Okay, now on to a bit more of the boring bug fixy kind of things. If you do for some reason come across a lot that does have power, your Sims will no longer be able to use the computers on that lot. Survivors can no longer replace broken objects for simoleons, they must fix them themselves. The waste manager and Sammy the ring bearer will no longer visit the lots with the survivalist lot trait. Ciudad Enamorada, I think that's how it's pronounced, is now cleared of Walk by Sims, that is the Lovestruck world. I fixed the bug that caused the game to crash after hunting. Before, when you're out in the world and you were scavenging objects, specifically the scavenge option, when you click on the objects directly, it would show two options to scavenge. They both had the same name, however, one of these options was scavenged to personal inventory and one of them was scavenged to household inventory. I've made it so the game is able to differentiate between what should go into the household inventory and what should go into the personal inventory, and it will show whichever interaction that is appropriate for the size of the object. So if you were, I don't know, picking up a book or something, it would go to your Sim's personal inventory. However, if you were scavenging a chair, it would go to the household inventory, and the interaction would say scavenge to household inventory, so you can now differentiate. The roast menu on campfires is no longer available to survivors, as this was providing them with free food a lot of the time. All of the cooking interactions over the fire are now in the survival menu, and you are able to unlock these interactions by hunting for meat, scavenging ingredients, and fishing. Someone asked if I could make grills usable by survivors with the survivalist base lot trait, so they can now do that as long as they have the required ingredients, and this does include the barbecue pit from Island Living. Sadly, I had to remove the vitamin D deficiency. It just wouldn't work as I intended. I don't really know what's wrong with it. It's a piece of code I've used dozens and dozens of times before, but it's just not playing nice. If I can get this running correctly, then it absolutely will be added back. However, in the meantime, your Sims will still recognize that they are underground, and they will get that safe and sound underground buff. Trait inheritance has been moved from Mal22's trait tracker injector to Lot 51's core library. So Mal's injector is no longer required as a framework mod. I fixed an issue where Sims were still getting household bills. I've reintroduced the No More Festival notifications. All of the Lovestruck phone calls and texts are now blocked. And I have fixed the open Discord button on the survive pop-up. And I think that's all for this patch. This fixes some bugs that have been around for a while in the mod, and now I can get to working on an update for this, which is what I have planned next. And I'm really excited about this update. I plan to include a lot more survival elements, especially when it comes to other Sims and them perhaps being not so friendly towards your Sim. So survival may be a bit more of a struggle from now on, and there may be a bit more drama. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to that, and I hope you guys are excited for that too. Please update to this patch as soon as you can. But that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoy the mod, and good luck surviving.